Tonight, we're talking 4 reptile expos. I got 3 breeders on tonight with me. We're talking shows over the past, I was going to say the past 2 days, over 2 days this past weekend, all on the show here. I got Trevor Schneider from Ball Labs, and I got Kate and Bill Peever from Heart of the Python, and we are talking reptile expos from this past weekend all across America. Let's get to it. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for being here. It's 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It's 7 o'clock here in Minnesota. Unseasonably warm. I'll take it. I'm for the mild days. High of 56 today. High 30s, low 40s. Perfect. I'll take it all day long for as long as it lasts. Famous last words. Ask me how I'm doing in January. I'll probably have a different answer for you. But I hope that you're doing well. I hope wherever you guys were at this weekend, whatever you were out and doing, you got back safe and had a good time and all of that stuff. I am tired. I'm exhausted. I did 2 shows myself this weekend, one in Fargo, North Dakota. Those of y'all not up on your northern Midwest American geography, that's about 4.5 hours from where I live in Northfield, Minnesota to Fargo. And as you might guess, it's 4.5 hours back. And then I vended the very next day in a suburb outside of Minneapolis as well. So pretty tired, but it's fun. This is the life we chose, and it's very cool. And actually, I got thinking about it. Bill's probably rolling his eyes after the road trip that he made this weekend. So we'll hear about that. And then, Trevor got to vend in his own backyard. So anyhow, we will talk with Trevor from Ball Labs, Bill and Kate Peever from Heart of the Python as well on their show experiences this weekend. Couple quick announcements, and then excuse me, we'll get right to it. As always, now Proper Royals Live content is brought to you ad-free. You didn't have to watch an ad to log on here on your replay gang. Nobody had to see any commercials, no interruptions. That's brought to you by Palm Street. You gotta check out Palm Street. Go enjoy yourself. It's a live selling platform. But there's more and more shows. We're even going to talk a little bit about that tonight. There's more and more content on there that's interactive, educational, entertainment, all of that stuff tied in with selling. So it's a live platform. You can really showcase who you are, your facilities, your animals. And like I say, Palm Street takes care of the commercials for us. You don't have to worry about that. I've been doing on Mondays, I guess it would be noon Eastern, 11 a.m. here in the Central Time Zone on Palm Street on Mondays. I just do a shop day. I might be cleaning. I might be putting animals away. I might be ultrasounding. I don't do any live feeding on camera. That feels a little, I don't know, low-hanging fruit kind of thing, a little clicky for me that way. But I will talk about frozen thawed feeding, although I generally am not feeding on Monday unless I'm off schedule. And then there's the rodent chores as well, ASFs, and I wean babies from the moms on Mondays. So we get into all that on Mondays. The shop is populated on Palm Street, so you can come hang out. It's usually anywhere from 2 to 4 hours of live me from the shop. And if you have any questions or want to see how life goes while I'm working and that kind of stuff, you could come hang out and see some animals, check things out. So that is on Palm Street. Do me a favor, personal favor, if you got 2 spare seconds. I mean, you're killing time on YouTube. Sometime find just a moment or two, go check out smalltownexotics.com. You could Google it. It's spelled with an Xotics, Small Town Exotics. That is Shane Kelly. He's become a very close friend. He is somebody I looked up to, I still look up to, mentor, and he's a great breeder. He breeds ball pythons and hognoses. This is public information, so I'm not sharing anything private, but his mother passed away unexpectedly within the past week. And aside from the personal challenges of all of that, there is unexpected costs that go with it. Let's call it what it is. If there ever was a time you were thinking of supporting somebody or purchasing a snake, or you've always liked Shane because he's an awesome dude, go check out what he's got available. Consider buying from him. I know he'll run some deals. I know he'll make you a deal. Go see what he's got cooking for you. Okay. Like I say, be a little personal favor for me, and Lord knows we all spend enough time on the internet. Why don't you go check out what Shane has going on? You got to go to smalltownexotics.com, or you could go to his Husbandry Pro shop, and I believe he's on Reptile ads as well. And I might even ask Trevor about that, since I see that he's wearing a Reptile ads hat. So my condolences to Shane and his family, and go take a look for him. Okay. This weekend, one more show before I kick off for a little while and don't go on the road. I've been doing too many. I will be in Des Moines, Iowa this weekend, Sunday, at the Cold-Blooded Expos show. It is a great show. It's at the Hilton Garden Inn, West Des Moines. Go check that show out. That's the last one until like the week of Christmas, I think. Otherwise, I will be pivoting to local regional sales or FedEx shipments. So that's the last chance for in-person. You can always check out properroyals.com. I do still have clutches coming. I still have, look at that, just a little rack space left. Those are just a few more breeders down there still to give a couple clutches. Okay. So I do have some cool stuff coming, and the incubator is still packed. So keep your eye on properroyals.com. I will ship to you. I ship through the winter when it's safe, and I'll hold animals at no charge until I can ship. Let me see. Locals, if you need live ASFs, talk to me. I'm your guy. I got plenty, fully stocked in all sizes, and production is where I want it. And now I need the customers to get these things out of here. So Minnesotans, you got to either come to Lonsdale, or we can arrange delivery, but you're going to have to spend a little bit. I can't do a delivery for, 4 or 5 ASFs. That doesn't make sense. Right. So talk to me about that. And if you're really crazy locals, this Thursday night, I've got a music project. I've been working with a local group of musicians. We're going to be doing, for Halloween on Thursday night, we're going to be doing the full Rocky Horror Picture Show soundtrack live for you. So if you're into that sort of fun cult movie theme, dress up, all that good stuff, come on out. It's at the Grand in Northfield. There is a little pre-show at 6:00, dinner, drinks, all that kind of stuff. And then 7:30 starts the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Last but not least, I have to make one adjustment to the screen here. There's all these media things you can do. You can put on overlays, underlays, backgrounds. Now I can't even find the overlays. Where is this thing? Hang on a second. Yeah, okay. There. I was gonna say this isn't gonna cut it. There we go. Right there. Portuguese pythons. I got to give them a very, very special shout out. They have been a very strong supporter of Proper Royals for the past 2 years. I couldn't ask for a better business professional relationship. Heck, a lot of people's personal relationships don't last 2 years. I'm okay with saying it's not inexpensive to have your logo here at the top of the show. And they've done that for 2 years and been incredible partners. I'm so thankful to have had the time with Portuguese pythons. They're stepping out, not of the industry, just of this scene. And again, I couldn't be more thankful. I take a lot of pride in how long these advertisers stay with me, and I couldn't have asked for better support over the past 2 years than from Portuguese pythons. So special thanks to them. Make sure you go check out their Morph Market page. They're working ultramel projects in things like puzzle, clown, and pied with really great dark genes, but then also these really great like Bell complex genes that make the ultramel just look just glowing and neon. But really, they're just amazing people. I've always been able to call them when I'm looking for insight, whether we're talking about breeding ASFs or big long-term breeding projects with ball pythons. The pictures and the quality of the animals speak for themselves. They're just great people. And Renee, Danny, thanks for having the faith in me. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for all the kind words. I still remember the first time that you called to inquire and the kind words that you said about the product here at Proper Royals. It means the world to me. The door's always open. You're always family. I cannot wait to catch up out in California. So next week, we'll have a little new lineup up top. I will say publicly, I'm thankful there was people lined up ready to go. I'll leave it there, but you'll see how this all plays out in the next week or so. So this week though is thanks so much to Danny and Renee from Portuguese Pythons. Go check them out, guys. Contact information is down below for all the sponsors. I'll tell you more about them later in the show. Okay. I feel good. My conscience is clear, and I am so thankful. It's nice to give a little bit of thanks here. Let me see. There we go. The overlay is gone. I don't know what Nick and Troy were thinking. Nick and Troy from All American Reptile Plant Expos. They ran big expos. These are not just little neighborhood flea market swap meet feel shows. They ran big shows in Nashville and Castle Rock, Colorado, the very same weekend. I'm sure there's a very good reason for it. I didn't ask them, either of them, of it. I did hear that's just how the availability for the venues lined up. But kudos to them. They ran not one, but two national scale shows on the same weekend. Trevor from Ball Labs, which I hope you all know, he was, speaking of great supporter of Proper Royals, was also a supporter for a very long time. Trevor, you've ended in Castle Rock this weekend out in Colorado. That's a suburb of Denver. Yeah. Is that an easy way to describe it if people are there?
Yeah. Denver is growing into Castle Rock every year, so it'll become part of Denver soon.
And Bill and Kate, I believe I found out in the green room. I had it a little mixed up, but I believe I found out that only Bill was actually vending in person, but Kate's going to have insight as well from Heart of the Python. They vended in Nashville this weekend. How are y'all doing tonight?
I'm exhausted.
I'm doing great. I slept well. I didn't have to drive for that long, but I get to hear about it for the first time with you guys because we really haven't got a chance to talk about the show too much. So.
Get out of here. What's like, oh, okay, wait. But then, so, all right, Bill, what's the logistics? You guys are out actually toward like the outside of Boston, out toward the Cape. Is that correct?
We're even further north. Yeah, we're north of Boston, up by Salem.
Oh, excuse me, north. Okay. So
Cape would be closer.
Yeah. So you went from north of Boston to Nashville. When did you leave? Did you leave after Sunday on the show, or did you get some sleep and then leave Monday?
No. I traveled with Lauren and Emma, my two teenagers, and I had to get them back at least by Tuesday morning. So we left right after the show, broke down an hour, got out of there, and went to all the way to Roanoke. 6 hours to Roanoke, and then it was 10 hours back up. So without any traffic.
Do they are they old enough to drive yet or not?
No, and they'll never be old enough to drive me. So
okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. They do most of the traveling with me. Kate gets to be the travel princess, and she gets on a nice Delta flight, like when we go down to Atlanta for Southeast, and she flies down, does the thing, flies back out, and we cart everything back.
I've heard of such arrangements. I would like to be the travel princess myself. I would take it. I can't knock Kate for that one bit. Not in the least. So
it's in the when it comes to the shows.
I'm sorry. What's this?
I said he definitely puts all the legwork in when it comes to the shows. Him and the girls.
And then, well, okay. So then tell me a little bit about like do you both have breeding projects that are each kind of your own? Is one of you more of a driver of the ball pythons, or how does that all work?
We argue about predators.
Yeah, we definitely, we have our own projects. And unfortunately, neither one of our projects has babies. However, some of Lauren's projects did, and that's what we were taking down with us. A lot of bananas and pies that we take down, and she's actually the saleswoman in the whole group. She's very good at selling.
And this is your daughter
that walks by.
She's one of our teenagers.
Yeah. Okay, and I've been to. This is actually the first Castle Rock show that I haven't made. I had vending commitments myself. Generally, I'm there working with Redline in Colorado. But tell me about the Nashville show. Was this? Is this the first or the second one they've done in Nashville? I'm losing track now.
I think it's the second.
Second one. Okay.
Yeah.
What was the scene like? How was the setup, the flow, the size, the scope, all of that kind of stuff?
I think it would have been perfect, like absolutely perfect, had not there been something called Panda Fest that unexpectedly popped up right there at the same time the flea market was going on. So I think parking was a nightmare for people.
Okay, excuse my ignorance. The heck is Panda Fest?
I have no idea. I know that people were wearing panda hats. They were having panda cups. Panda shirts. I think I saw a couple of furry pandas. There was a panda stage, but we were inside the whole time. We never actually got to see the panda people.
Okay, panda people. All right. So, And then you mentioned a flea market. You're not talking about the AARPE show as the flea market, though, right? There was a separate.
No.
Yeah.
There
Okay.
was a flea market that was right next door.
Wow. Okay.
So it was sort of like the perfect storm of these two things were competing. They draw a lot of people, and that draws a lot of parking away. I think that Troy set up everything perfectly, and I know that for the March show, he's like gearing up and making sure this isn't going to happen again.
These panda people, they'll be out of here.
I know that Lauren got a couple of people that came from the flea market.
To get Troy had a setup right next to where. So you've got to think about the event. We had our stage set right, and then next door they have these huge garage doors that can open.
Sure.
And they opened up into the flea market people. And Troy set up a table there with tickets. And we were luckily right there. And we have our show snake, the one that everyone gets to pet. Just a giant, really, really cool banana clown. And Lauren just gets up there and says, if you come in here, you could touch the snake. And I'm like, oh my God, you're not doing this. And suddenly people are buying tickets from the flea market to come in. And she's drawing them in, and she's sold snakes to these people that might not have come otherwise.
Wow.
So
Okay.
Really cool.
That is cool then. When you first said, Nick Sloan, his wife's name is Lauren. And I was like, wait a minute. It was Troy and Lauren running this? What did they swap? No. Okay. I got you. Different Lauren though. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Lauren and Emma are our teams.
Yeah. Got it. For the Nashville show, did they have any like featured guests booked? I know in the past, Ed and Emily from Snake Discovery have done the Castle Rock show. I think maybe was Clint there in Castle Rock this time, Trevor? Yeah. Did they have anything like that, like meet and greet, celebrity kind of thing?
No. It was all vendors and a lot of vendors that, we all know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, small town, Shane was there.
Yep.
Genetic Genesis was supposed to be there. Scott and Jordan.
No, they went to.
Scott and Jordan called me on the road. Bill, we got a chance to go to Colorado. Really? Well, you could talk to the kids who they call Scott and Jordan their uncles.
Okay.
And they were so mad. They had to get. I'm so sorry.
You said their name. Here they are. Now, I'm familiar with them, but where are they based out of?
They're right out of St. Louis.
Oh, so right in between. I see. Now,
right
I got to think St. Louis is closer to Nashville, but maybe not. I don't know.
I think it is. I think it is. This was a little bit more of a trek for them, but they really wanted to do it, and they did pretty well there.
Okay. Excellent. All right. And then Trevor, give us set us up the same similar scene on the Castle Rock show. Like say, I've been there, but I don't want to be biased. The audience maybe hasn't. What'd you see there? What was their setup like and crowds, all that kind of thing?
I think those guys have definitely perfected the Castle Rock show. They've got that figured out. I think this is the third or fourth show now. And the Douglas County Fairgrounds, where it goes down, is a pretty large complex. In fact, at the same time, they had the rodeo going on. On the other side of our venue, they have soccer fields and the kids playing soccer. There's a lot that goes on at that venue all at the same time, and it was great. It was great. The table setup is always the same, always perfect. People know where they're going. We had I believe it was the fire marshal that came in this year and said, we got to make the aisles 10 feet minimum, which is fine. It makes it so that especially on the busier shows, there's plenty of elbow room for people, the people buying tickets and coming and looking at all the snakes and plants and all that kind of stuff. So
a little bit of the show behind the show. That fire marshal, if it's the lady I was thinking of,
it is.
Look, everybody's safe. Let me say that. There's people will be safe and compliant there, and we'll just leave it there. But if the guy from Minnesota who's never actually even vended the Colorado show is familiar with the local fire marshal, she's on point, man. She's on point for sure.
There's no fires happening on her watch. That's for sure. But all in all, it was great. It was perfectly set up like normal, and those guys definitely have that showdown to a T. So.
How was the did Clint do like a meet and greet and all of that kind of stuff, like Ed and Emily style, or was he just there working like Brian Cusco does, kind of working the crowd and filming, or what was going on?
So both Clint and Brian were there. Clint did a meet and greet and a talk on Friday night during the VIP. I missed that. Both, Josh Ben's with me, Josh over at Critical Hits, and we both went Friday to get set up, and we were in and out because we both had trunk or treats going on for the boys, for the kids on Friday. But so we missed the VIP and we missed Clint's chat, but I'm sure it went great. Clint's an awesome dude, and Brian was doing the walk around video and talking to people and all that kind of stuff. So it was awesome. It was definitely awesome.
Very cool. Now, what'd you see for change in traffic? I know last time when I was there with Ed and Emily, it was two things. Yeah, it was a madhouse with traffic, but they did it great. Like the exit through the gift shop was like the exit from Ed and Emily was onto the floor of the expo, which is really brilliant. And depending what you had to sell at those front tables, maybe could have been incredible. But what did you see different? What I found, at least at Tinley, with Ed and Emily not there, it didn't really change my results because a lot of the people that came to see them weren't necessarily going to be buying what I had to sell. Did it make a difference in your sales? No.
We've noticed the last couple of fall shows, they've been a little slower, which is completely, like we did the Repticon even 2 weeks ago. Me and Josh did the Repticon 2 weeks ago, and it was a little slower, but no, they did about half the numbers that they did with Ed and Emily, which, I mean, Ed and Emily is a force, right?
Yeah, that's a factor of magnitude. That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, when Ed and Emily were here, they had a line of cars out to the highway, which was craziness. So I'm surprised that didn't get shut down. But it was still a good show. I think they came in somewhere right around 4,500 for traffic, which is decent. Very
that's
good.
A lot of people. I mean, even if there's, how many vendors are there? 120 maybe?
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, I know all the reptile guys. I don't know any of the plant guys. Besides the guy that vends across from us. We've seen him every year, and he just kills it. But yeah, I think it's somewhere around 100, 120 vendors. Yeah.
But so, that means there's 45 customers per vendor. It's that's a great number,
Yeah, for sure. But all in all, it was exactly what we expected, I think. Some of the vendors that I know locally talked to, this was their best show ever, their best ARB ever, which is awesome for them.
Right.
Some didn't do so well, but that's just like any show, right? You got to bring the right product for the market, right? And so that's how that works.
Well, So speaking of that, Bill, you mentioned earlier you had a lot of bananas and pieds. I'm going to take a leap here and guess that you guys did pretty well, but I don't know this. I don't have this information yet. What did you guys see, or what would be your gauge of doing well, so to speak?
We did okay. I think that we didn't get the real reptile people who might have wanted to come in because of the parking.
Oh, really? Okay.
We saw a lot of pet level people.
Yeah.
I know that GG Serpents moved some inventory. Balls and Strikes moved some inventory.
Right.
And I didn't talk to Shane right after the show. So I'm not sure, where that ended up. I know that I think Flawless Geckos did okay. They did good by us because we ended up buying 4 geckos and they're somehow not going on. And I can tell you that I bought more than I bought more than I sold.
You did. Wow. Thanks for supporting the community and the local. Support your local breeders. Yeah.
We moved some breeder girls and then some boys, some banana boys, some banana pod, calico bananas. But that's what we're moving. And I will tell you, there was no dickering in prices.
That's cool. That's a nice sign.
Didn't have to lower any prices. We just talked about the animals, and again, it's all about selling the individual animal. We have their little names on it. So when we're talking about them, we're talking about we're talking about Idaho.
Yeah, Idaho went to a good family.
So it was not one of our best shows. I mean, it wasn't Southeast for us, but it did a lot better than the Repticons we've been to. Yeah. And I think that we're definitely going back in March, and I think it's going to be a much different show than what we had this time, because I know what it did last time they had it, right? And I think it was just the perfect storm. Mm-hmm. Volume wise, I think I was talking to Troy on Saturday. He said that Colorado was doing about the same volume on Saturday that we were with people coming in. I think it was the difference between a targeted audience and what's this?
Some audience, right. What I don't know if you're willing to share or comfortable sharing. What would you say your average price point on sales were, or was it all over the place?
400.
400. Okay.
Average per snake that was going out.
Yeah, I talked to a couple people that had schedule conflicts with coming on tonight. I won't say who because it's a private conversation. They could speak for themselves if they want to. I talked to one person that said they moved about 20 snakes, but they were in that 300 average price point, which, hey, $2,300 snakes, I'll take it kind of deal. But then I talked to some other guys that I put it this way. I look up to them, what they're breeding, and they said they sold about 2 each kind of deal. So, Trevor, what'd you see as far as what was moving for you? And now you usually do pretty good at that show, I think. I don't want to speak for you, but if I recall, like I've been pretty impressed with some of the stats I've heard in the past. How did this one go?
I had brought a lot of stuff that I'm trying to move out to make room because of the upcoming season. Right. So it was a lot of pet stuff. Which was fine with me. Josh moved some good animals. This is our last show of the year, and we're coming into the season where we can't really do a lot of shipping either. So this was kind of the final gung ho of getting rid of stuff that we're not going to be using anymore, and stuff that's just sitting on sitting in tubs, taking up space that we could be, using that for the new ones coming out. Coming up soon. So it wasn't definitely wasn't my best show ever, but it was completely fine with me.
Okay.
Got to move some animals and covered the show, covered the payment for the next show. and covered the animals that I bought from Josh at Ball Shed. So
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I'm okay with it for sure.
Josh always has good stuff too, man. Depending on what you bought from Josh, you might have had an excellent show then. Yeah. That's
I pre-ordered from Josh for sure. So yeah, they were in the Ultra Puzzle project, and I'm very happy about it.
Very cool. Yeah, there was I've ended in Kansas City one time, and a lady comes up to me, and in a very local accent, I'm not going to be patronizing and recreate an accent, but she leans in whispering, and she goes, "Why in the world is that guy's snake priced at $14,000?" And it was Josh's.
It was probably the Ultimate Puzzle, huh?
Yeah, no, it's exactly what it was. It was the Ultimate Puzzle. So anyway, I always remember that lady. She said, "Why in the world?" So anyway, well, cool. I had so I've ended in Fargo, and I was there last year, and it was a really good show, and it was kind of, Bill, what you were describing, like people, they knew what they wanted. They came in, there was no haggling. I happen to remember it was all cash that day. It was really bizarre. It's just boom, boom, boom. And I remember being like, what is going on in Fargo? And it was a cool show. And I was looking forward to going back there because they only do one show a year. It's a metro area of about 300,000 people. And there's not another show within like 4.5 hours of Fargo. So I was like, this all lines up well. But Fargo was a dud for me. I sold 3 animals, and I think they averaged under across all 3. Put it this way, one of them was $50, and across all 3, they averaged like 200, I guess. So yeah, that makes for a long drive home from Fargo. Let's just say that after a long day. But then Sunday it's actually in a suburb called Hastings outside of Minneapolis, and it's in an Armory basketball court. I mean, National Guard Armory basketball court gymnasium. I had my second best show ever. Yeah. And I sold 10 or 12 animals at a higher price point too, around much closer to that 300 or even a little higher than the 300 price point. So really kind of a crazy, I don't know. I always do well at that. And that's hosted by Ed and Emily Snake Discovery. I think that's why they aren't in Colorado that weekend. So what's funny though, is that the old thing, I think you're more famous if you go somewhere else, because here, like, they get a good flow, but I think it's probably, I don't know, 2,000 people that maybe came. And it definitely has like I don't mean this in a negative way, because it's a great show for me, but it definitely has more of like a swap meet kind of a feel rather than a professional bright lights trade show kind of deal, which has its ups and downs. Sometimes you look around and you're like, man, I don't know if this is the best representation. But on the other hand, it's very welcoming. It's not overwhelming. Ed and Emily are there. They always keep a very good eye on the health of animals and who's there vending and all of that. One thing I noticed in Fargo, which I think Troy and Nick are outstanding about. One thing I noticed in Fargo is a lot more of like the trinket stuff. Yeah. This is getting out of hand, man. Like, it's one thing if it's like a 3D printed snake, that's still not my favorite thing. But when it's not even pet related, like, no wonder pet buyers aren't, or enthusiasts aren't coming if they have to wade through, window tint and K-pop demon hunter, whatever the thing is, trinkets, and I'm like, what's going on here?
I definitely agree. I love that Troy and Nick have limited it to really the reptiles and plants. And I mean, some of the reptile vendors have 3D printed stuff, like extra stuff on their table, but they also sell, reptiles. So yeah.
I just want it to be even, I'm not the biggest fan of the plushies and all that, but if they're, snakes and axolotls and they're for kids in the hobby, that's fine. I get it. It's not my thing, but I get it. I sell jerseys. That's not any of their thing. That's fine. Yeah. But when it's just not related, I'm like, man, I get it. The promoter wants to sell the table and make money, but I think that's shooting yourself in the foot in the long run, because the enthusiasts aren't going to come, which means the vendors aren't going to come. Mm-hmm. It's my feeling. What do you see around Colorado on the regional ones?
The little Repticons and Show Me's. That's where you're wanting to do a booth that's renewal by Anderson Windows, and somebody trying to sell you solar or something like that too. So it's a hodgepodge of anybody who wants to rent a table can rent a table. So I like that about AARP.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because like I remember, I mean, and Repticons where like I got my feet under me and I did great in the Florida circuit on Repticons, but it was like there was always like the one like roof gutter salesman table. What are you know what I'm talking about, the gutters on
gutter guard, leaf guard.
But it was like the one. Like, and I was like, okay. And we always had jokes about the gutter table, you know, like, okay, there's the one guy there. That's fine. Mm. And now it's like, man, I just noticed it. And it's probably not fair to say that just publicly about Fargo, but that's what it was. But it wasn't that way last year. And the show has a really good reputation. So I'm just curious of what the,
Tinley had a guy selling windows.
Did they?
Yeah, right by you. There was a guy selling windows in Tinley.
So bizarre.
I don't get it.
It's a lucky charm.
But I'll tell you, Kate and I are actually thinking about selling, going to anime cosplay people events and trying a booth there. See if we can. We're going to invade them and see what happens.
There you go.
I'll tell you, there's I don't think it's actually like the Comic Con brand, but there's a comic conference here in Minneapolis, big, and they actually advocated. They set up I think they only had like 4 or 6 booths. They wanted reptile breeders at the Comic Con thing, and a couple of my friends went and they said, you know what, Adam, it was actually pretty good. We didn't do a huge amount of sales, but there was no competition. People were loving it. And I think even one of them did the, come take a picture and maybe it costs money or maybe there's a tip jar or maybe you can help us out. I'm not sure. Again, it's not exactly my thing on that, but I did think it was pretty cool. And there's definitely an overlap. When I do boosted ads on Facebook, one of the niches that I put is tattoos. And I've often thought like tattoo conventions would be a good overlap as well.
We're just like Massachusetts does not have a plethora of shows, and that's why when we drew the circle of where we're willing to go, it goes Atlanta, out to Nashville, St. Louis, Tinley. That's our half circle. Anything within 18 hours of driving, but that's what we have to do. We're hoping to break into the Pennsylvania circuit. But around here, we don't have anything. But there are Comic-Con conventions, and that's what we're thinking.
It's really incredible to me to think of the concentration of population in the Northeast and how few shows there. I know there's got to be a reason. It's not like some amazing light bulb went off in my head. Hey, how about you do a show up here? But I feel like there needs to be a promoter based in New England or something that gets things going.
We have Manchester, New Hampshire, but Tyler told me that it wasn't worth going to White Plains anymore, and Poughkeepsie's shut down. Yeah, so they dried up. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, and
Manchester was really good.
Yeah, and then the show we did was good.
Yeah. Well, all that means is you guys are supposed to start a show there.
That's
I do not have the organizational talent that Troy and no, I don't think that I have the willpower or will to do something like that. But it has to be done.
It's interesting to me. I say I guess there's not a huge number of them, but like you say, the Pennsylvania circuit is relatively strong and robust, and then outside of there, you just hear that it's just nothing. I mean, outside, I hear of White Plains, but like you say, I didn't know nothing of it. I don't want to talk bad about a show I've never been to, but I've heard that it's not what it used to be anyway, put it that way. I don't know if Gertz brings up a good point. I don't know if there's regulation, if it's just too much of a headache, or you can't find venues, or the venues are too expensive and nobody wants to. it takes a lot of guts to write that 5-figure check. And I'm not talking low 5 figures to get these venues. I mean, I used to run venues for weddings, and I could tell you it was 5 figures for a 200-person venue versus, 4,000 people kind of deal. So I can only imagine the checks those guys are writing just to secure the venue before anything else happens.
New Hampshire is pretty much, don't tread on me. Kind of did it like live free or die.
Live free or die, right? Yeah.
And they're just a couple hours away from us. So
yeah. It's too bad the border's such a challenge too, because really, I mean, you're not that far, relatively speaking, from like CRBE as well. But vending and importing, exporting is a nightmare. I'm actually dealing with getting an animal from the Toronto area right now, which is turns out it's challenging to even send money there versus much less get the animal from there once you get your money sent there. So I digress on that. So what do you feel about Bill? What do you feel about the market in general? Did this weekend change your opinion at all of it? I mean, I think most of us feel like it's slower and tougher or slow and difficult, but did you get any new perspective this weekend at all?
It was hard it's hard to say. I mean, obviously when we're talking about higher end breeder to breeder sales, it wasn't happening there, other than a few of us going to each other. I picked up an animal from Shane that we had prearranged, but and I picked up actually one from Troy as well. Little snakes sold, and I know the same person you're probably talking about did really well. Selling hog noses. Hog noses were off the tables.
Yeah.
King snakes off the tables. And balls, I think, had a harder time of it. And I don't think it had to do with there were so many of us that it was saturated. I think that it had to do with the target audience and who was actually coming.
Right.
People at a swap meet coming in, from next door, people from Panda Fest, bringing home a small snake doesn't look like much. This isn't going to take up much room. This is, sure. Okay. You can have the snake. It's not that much money. We can get it. We can put it in a tank from Petco tonight.
Right.
We don't have to think about it. Where when you're getting a larger, I think even the dwarf retics that were there, a friend of mine was, he brought them in, and they weren't going to sell because it's just not who showed up this time. That does not mean it's not going to be who shows up in March.
Right. You're right though. That's a really niche audience. There's a breeder in Florida that kind of looked out for me when I first was starting, and he was like, small snakes sell. You don't get into it's a whole different, that is a whole different business model when you start even the dwarf retics. I mean, once you get into that business model, it's pretty wild and completely different,
Interestingly enough, I saw the same thing here in Castle Rock. I know there was quite a few ball breeders that did well, and we did well as well. But there was other species that were doing better than normal. Saw carpets do well, saw some leeches do well, indigos, Gila monsters, quite a few of the not normal species, like not balls, right?
Yeah.
Colubrids do well. That were like, I've vended with these vendors for years, and best shows they've had also to date. So maybe diversification is just hitting this fall that needs to happen for those industries, for those species to really flourish, which is great. That's what we want to see, right?
Well, I think there's a cyclical thing to it, and Jeremy mentions, he says he's noticed a trend from comments. There seems to be a bit of an anti-ball python sentiment. Ball pythons are the backbone. They're the king. They're going to take the most shots. They're the biggest thing there. They're the most vendors there. So it's easy to, it's the Yankees or the Lakers. So, you're gonna take the hits. Did you Trevor, you're talking about a variety of species. Did you see less ball python vendors? Are you seeing less overall right now? Same kind of thing, same saturation as usual?
Yeah. Same people that we've seen at the past shows. Just saw more vendors that were non-ball python breeders do better than they normally do, which I'm completely fine with. I love all the species, right? I have lots of different species as well, so I think it's great to see that. And you're right, ball pythons are the backbone. We're going to have the biggest, most noticeable ebb and flow out of all the species, right? So I thought that was great seeing those guys sell some animals. So
do you see people, maybe not just this show specific, but in general around Colorado? Are you hearing of some of your colleagues or peers packing up and calling it a day because it's tough, or the market's been saturated, or the economy's tough, or any of all of the above?
We've seen a few, unfortunately, that have packed up. We've seen some jump species. They've been in it for a long time. They've done balls for a long time. They want to try something new, which is completely fine. Keep something new, or get excited about something new, which is great. But no, I don't think the ball python market is dying here, anything like that, right?
No, well, I actually meant it even in an opposite way. If I hate to say this because I don't root for it, I root for the industry. But if there's less breeders in a marketplace and the same number of customers, or we can grow the customer base because we haven't reached everything in a marketplace, then there's more opportunity for.
Well, that's what the ball python community, or if you look at it over time, it ebbs and flows. Justin said 2 years. And what we're watching is a lot of people are dumping, getting out. Some breeders that are well known that we all know have decided, this is it for me. As they do that, the market opens up again, and that's sort of what you wait for. And then on the upslope, I think that ball pythons are the Labrador retrievers of the snake world. They are the ones that you can pick up, and mom knows it's probably not going to bite the kid. It's not one of my daughter's king snakes that, oh, you're so nice, and it's latched onto you. I think that they're sweet, they're cute, they come in a lot of varieties, and not only is there high-end projects for us that gets our interest and gets our minds flowing about what comes next, but you also have the pet level stuff that's really beautiful. I mean, you're producing beautiful snakes. You're producing snakes that are going to be both showpieces and ones that will hang around your neck and do dishes with you. I hear a lot of things about retics and how smart and intelligent they are, and they're really good. They can be really good companions, but they're huge. And we're working in an economy where a lot of people are going into smaller houses and apartments. Ball pythons are going to fit better into those places. I really think that the idea the industry is dying is a misnomer. More than there are a lot of breeders out there who think the same way we are. As they are not doing as well, they start to wane, and we're going to get back in the upslope again. I say, hang in there, buy now. Buy the projects that are now cheaper to get into. But everyone out there, don't discount Monsoon. Don't go ahead and take Tornado down to a $500 animal, because wait it out, because we can't disvalue our projects. You can't say, I don't want to, and I've seen this. I'd never name names, but I've seen it where some really high value snakes are being talked down because they want to make enough money to cover their table cost.
Right.
And I think that the value that we put on these animals matters. And if we take the value off, then the value for the entire industry goes. And I think that's something that we all should be really cautious about, because these animals have a value. And yeah, we all have to cover our costs, but maybe we cut down on the shows. Maybe we focus in on what we're doing and the number of animals that we are breeding at the moment. But I don't want to see all these cuts and discounts going out. I think that it really makes it as if they don't really have a value.
Let's I want to dive into that. There's some comments, excuse me, in the comment section. Basically beautiful looking pets doing really, really well. The reach of households that we are not reaching and great opportunities for reaching households. Some of what you just said as well, Bill. Audience, stick around. I got to pay some bills real quick, and it's tricky when there's three people. I got to kick somebody off. So Trevor, I'm going to kick you off for a minute. Yep. I have to keep somebody else because then if it's back to just me, then there's no logos as well, and I got to take care of some folks. So Trevor, I'm going to put you in timeout for just a second. All right, brother?
Sounds good.
All right, stick around, guys. We're going to dig into that. I want to pick apart pricing, stability, value, and then how that plays into our breeding projects looking forward, because I've been thinking a lot about that, and this weekend's experience plays into that as well. In the meantime, winter's coming. What's a person to do with shipping? Well, you got the good folks at Redline Shipping to help you through that. They have a phone number you can call. You can learn how to ship your animal in uncertain weather and uncertain conditions. They have the supplies to help you. These are people local, when I say local, domestic, people in America answering your phone that own reptiles, and they are enthusiasts. They work in the industry. They have the supplies to get you through and the knowledge to take care of your animals safely. So that is why I use Redline Shipping, as well as the ease of shipping with Redline at redlineshipping.com. Use the promo code PROPER5, get yourself $5 off of your next shipping label and experience the service that comes with that. It's a live animal. Don't get it right, okay? Shedtesting.com. That is soon to change. You're going to hear of a little bit of a brand shift over the next few weeks, months, coming future. Shedtesting.com is also Phenome Genetics. Phenome.com, Phenome. You should follow them on Instagram as well. It's a new endeavor that Charlie has partnered with, so to speak. I'm not sure of all the legal and financial ramifications of how they're all working together, but Shed Testing is now a part of Phenome. So you'll hear those names exchanged interchangeably. However, the great service, which I love, from shedtesting.com remains, and Charlie has recently been able to lower prices by improving efficiency, by improving accuracy of results, by reducing any human interaction with your sheds, and it's faster. Better, cheaper, faster. That's like the trifecta of business, the holy grail right there. So go check out shedtesting.com. You can run a 10-test recessive panel for $85. That's $8.50 a test on average when you set up a panel like that. Single gene tests start at $35 per animal as well. So go check out shedtesting.com, and you can use the promo code PROPER10, get yourself 10% off. And I know maybe you're saying it used to be 15, Adam. Well, the prices used to be like 60% higher. So you're still getting a great deal. And like I say, more accurate, faster, better results as well. Reagan Renee Royal Pythons. That is Charlie at Reagan Renee Royal Pythons. He just launched his website, and I had it pulled up here. It's hot off the press. Here we go. He just launched his website, reaganrenee.com. All of his inventory is on there. Couple perks if you go check out reaganrenee.com. He is a ball python breeder, by the way. I should have told you that, and a very good one if you ask me, specializing in Krypton projects, DG Krypton. What else we got going on there at Reagan Renee? DG, G-Stripe, Candy Pied, Clown, single, double, triple ingredients as well. But at reaganrenee.com, first thing, if you use a promo code PROPER10, you're going to get yourself 10% off. Also, anything you buy on the website is free shipping. That's pretty good. So go check out reaganrenee.com, reaganrenee.com, reaganrenee.com. As I mentioned earlier, if you missed the beginning of the show, you have to go back. But Portuguese Pythons, this will be the last show where they are an advertising partner. They've been here for 2 years, supporting this content, supporting you, the audience, giving me the drive to keep going and to keep bringing great guests on and keep talking about our industry. Thank you so much to Danny and Renee Rocha. Go check out their inventory on Morph Market. As I mentioned, for 2 years now, I love their Ultramel projects. They're working Ultramel in puzzle, clown, pied, also in hypo. I love them in the dark genes, but they're also working them into brightening bell complex genes as well. They also have cool combos like sunset hypo combos. Go check them out. Great people. I'm so thankful for all their support. And I hope to have them back on the show again soon. I hope to go hang out with them in California all as well. Thanks so much for 2 great years, Portuguese Pythons. Thank you guys. Sarah and Josh, I've known them for even longer, actually. We used to vend the Repticon circuit together down in Florida. I've bought animals from them. I've sold animals to them. Currently, right now on Morph Market, I know that they have puzzle projects available. Some actually really cool super pastel het red axanthic puzzles are available. They're also your shop for TSK axanthic clown projects and ingredients. They are doing great stuff on that. They've produced some double visuals. They've produced zebras that they have available. And also they work a lot with asphalt. So if you're into those yellow belly complex combos, and like asphalt, it's not nearly as common here in the States as it is north of the border, but they definitely have it and they're working with that. So go check out Sarah and Josh. Last but not least is Chris at BNS Reptilia, my vending partner at Tinley, the original advertising partner on Proper Royals. Here we are all these years later, still working together. We own some animals together, vending Tinley together. Chris is Reptilia because he not only deals in ball pythons, but blood pythons, locality boas, colubrids of all shapes and sizes, Pituophis, if you know what that means. He's your guy, the bull snakes, the pine snakes. He's got the paperwork, the permits, the knowledge, the education, and experience to get you what you need and to make sure it's legal where you're at. He's also the regional distributor of the Chipper Cocoa, and that he's in Pennsylvania. If you're interested in being a distributor of the Chipper, you can get in touch with him as well for information on that. Audience, thank you. I wouldn't do it without you. You guys make it appetizing for these advertisers to participate with me and to support me and to keep me going on Tuesday nights. So thank you all for being here. We're hanging out tonight. We got Bill and Kate Peever here from Heart of the Python and Trevor from Ball Pythons. We've switched up spots. Trevor's going to be on the bottom bunk. Now Kate and Bill are going to be on the top bunk. I'm still over here in the top left corner. So, Bill, you raised some really, really good points about pricing. Troy brought up in the comment section, and I kind of steer towards this myself as like a base point or foundation. If it's beautiful and I don't have to explain why it's a cool animal, I'm 90% of the way there. Then it's just explaining to people how they connect the dots from wanting that to having that. And that's an easy step. So for me, I always love that. Now, that also funds my more expensive projects. That's the cash flow for putting the down payments on other projects, for buying and investing in, breeder animals that I can get going and move forward on sooner than later. So I look at it as kind of a two-pronged approach where it's right now, really my sales are probably, I would bet 70-30 sort of pet versus breeder grade or hobbyist enthusiast grade. So there's a little bit of a volume mismatch for me because it is more work and there's more mouths to feed. On the other hand, I'm moving a lot more. And I have this thought, and this is where it gets a little bit convoluted. But Bill, you mentioned there's these cycles, there's these ups and downs. If we're sort of at this down, the people that are buying the bananas and trying to understand how you make a banana pied, and if you breed a banana pied to a banana pied, what a super banana could mean, or how you're going to get normals and super bananas. And when those people are asking those questions, I think in 2 years when that goes up, they're going to be buying the more expensive stuff. And I think they're vitally important right now. Is kind of that's the fuel in my tank right now. What do you guys think of that?
Pet level people are going to get us through it. Yeah. They are. I also say that when you provide I know when I was in Virginia, at All American in Virginia, I sold snakes and I didn't have my girls with me. So I brought all my bioactive. I refurbished tanks, make them bioactive. That combo sold. I mean, people say, oh, I have a place to put this in immediately. It's all set up. They bought an expensive snake and the bioactive and they were good to go. The one thing that I learned is I got to bring a trailer with me, to trolley it out to them.
I was
I
just-
forgot that. That was a mistake. Luckily, I had a really good neighbor who said, "Here's mine," and I got that out for them. But having a setup ready to go for them, I think that what Scott and Courtney do with Stephen Courtney do with having their they have like a little Rubbermaid thing with a heater on it, ready to go for quarantine. I think that's a brilliant idea, because they can take it home and just go with it.
Right. How many of the bioactive setup is that's a pretty big commitment. How many of those things are you wheeling around?
I brought 3 with me to Virginia, and I sold 2 of them.
Nice.
So,
okay. I have to admit, I've been kicking myself, and one thing I'm absolutely going to do heading into 2026 is have the tub set, the cash and carry tub set up, ready to go. Either buy a snake at X price and you get the free setup, or I just sell it at cost to seal the deal. I was vending next to shout out to Doug and Erica at Slitherington, I think is the name of their brand, here in Minneapolis. They had it down. I even borrowed it a couple of, thank God. I'll tell you what, the very first sale of the day, somebody came to me and said, "I just want a plain banana." And I'm like, "I don't have that, but Doug has them right here." And I walked into their table and sold immediately. Thank God I did that, because about 5 times I borrowed their tub setup to go, "Here's how easy it is, guys. You just got to get this." I've got to have those. I need to have those under the table. I need to have 10 of them per show kind of deal. Trevor, is that something you and I had talked about before? Did I see you have some setups like that or not?
Yeah, I got the tubs with the heat pads on the bottom with a thermostat glued onto the side, and hide already in the tub as well. And then people get to pick out their water dish and plants and substrate and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
How do you price that? What's your overhead on each of those, and then how do you build that into the sale? What do you do?
They're just $40.
And that's what it costs you and what you sell it for, or how do you figure that?
Yeah, that would be what it would cost me, and then what I'd sell it for.
Gotcha. So it's just totally an amenity break even. Let's get the bigger sale, and your time is just yours.
Yeah.
Jeremy mentions the new Vision setups. Yeah. Those are sweet. Other than, I think just the tub is $50-$60 or something. So by the time you put the thermostat on it and the heater, a bowl, and a hide, you could be flirting with, $80, $90, $100, which is tough if somebody wants to buy $100 or $150 banana.
No, I love them. The only thing I could see is stacking them. They kind of went on like a V shape. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, how am I going to transport these without them knocking around? I think that was my thought process, but I thought it was a brilliant idea.
We saw them at Tinley.
Yeah, Tinley when they debuted them.
Yeah, I think they're sharp looking. They're great. I saw one and handled it in person. They're fantastic, but I still think the Sterilite with the purple locks are just undefeated for the value per price and the ease of and the durability. I mean, they're good. I had snakes living in those for a long time, maybe 2 years before I got a real rack. I mean, that was they're viable that way. So with all that, what are you guys putting? And obviously, I don't want to talk about like every animal that you're pairing, but what are some thoughts? Both Bill and Kate and Trevor, what are your thoughts as you plan for the next year? We know that projects take 2, 3, 5, 10 years to come along. What are your thoughts that go into your breeding plans or your business model looking forward? Trevor, how about you take the first stab at this one?
So my plans have always been the same, right? I have 25% of my collection is geared towards pets. 50% of my collection is geared towards entry-level breeders, mid-tier breeders, and then 25% is geared towards the higher-end stuff, right? I'm doing 46 pairings this year, and I'm making, just for pet level, hides, bananas, bells, the tip, right, the typical ones, and then quite a few of the just mid-tier people that have bought those pets 2 years ago that are ready to start moving into the next level. They've made the decision to move into breeding. That I'll have animals for them as well. Those are repeat buyers, repeat customers, and then throw some up to the higher end guys too. And I think that's the best way to. I mean, it's not for everybody. I have a large space and a large collection, so I'm able to pull that off. But not everybody is obviously able to do that. But I think that's the best way to be able to tackle all three of the target markets. Have something for everyone, right? And so I'll do that for a long time.
For a host that enjoys stats, you crushed it there. I wasn't expecting the full 46 pairing breakdown. I appreciate that. Kate, Bill, what say you? What's on your mind on this topic?
I mean, I think that we're going to continue to push to our Heartline forward for our pet level people, working on making sure we're breeding for temperament and inner beauty and outer beauty, and continue to push that forward. I'm really excited for some of the pairings for that this year. We've got and pushing forward the odium, which are kind of some of our lower level, entry level animals. But that'll be a lot of the bananas, pies, like you said. We just got a Super Russo clown male from Troy to make some bells, with the bells and stuff. Even with those Heartline though, I like to have the option, because we're still new and we're still, smaller, the option of having a holdback from every clutch if we want to. So having some our banana clutch this year was 50% het sunset. So we tested some of them to see if they were het sunset, and the ones that weren't are great pets, and the ones that are that kind of mid-level or possum holdback.
Yeah.
And kind of integrating that in.
And we're lucky in the sense that we both have our passion projects that are on the higher end, and the kids are taking care of the really cool table ends snakes with, Lauren picked up Banana Sunset and from Balls and Strikes, you got now Asphalt Calico, Hypo Enchi, that I don't know what she's going to make with, but she's excited about. So, they're making really beautiful pet level animals that allows us to really concentrate on our passion projects. And we're making hets right now. And we're thinking that 2 years down the line, so that we make the hets with our powerful animals. I'm putting interesting things into Rainbow that, have not been put into Rainbow. It's been stagnating there. So I'm making the hets now so that when the market starts to go up, I hopefully will have some really interesting visuals. Monarch is Monarch and Puzzle with Kate and Sunset on the other side. But don't discount those pet animals. I think that you make beautiful, gorgeous creatures, and you can put some. I know that Lauren's borrowing some of my NR Mandarin to put in with some of the pies and stuff. So I think I'm excited about the next 2 years. I think the next 2 years are about building.
I think so, and I think it's a challenge. I mean, all of us have. Every person on the show has a very deep entrepreneurial streak. I've gotten to know each of you pretty well outside of today's episode. And I definitely had one of those weeks that was, oh no, what have I done with my life?
Yeah.
And then 24 hours later, I knew it. I crushed it. I've been having that, and just the overall scope of probably the economy in general and American life in general right now is reflective of all of that. But if I look back at where I've ever been, quote, successful, at least financially, it was always in these tough times. It was finding a property to buy in these tough times. It was finding, or investing in myself to position myself so that when luxury dining came back, I could be the front runner on the highest paying position that I could find. And I see that now. We got to survive through it. I gotta eat and pay the bills through it and that kind of thing. But I am really optimistic on that. So I do share that, and I that motivates me. And that, and a 6-figure mortgage on a car wash. That'll motivate you too. You got to figure that out sometimes. Let me ask you this quick fire question. We use the expression pet animals. How much, what dollar amount are you looking at when you say pet grade, pet animal, pet focus?
350.
Okay. Trevor?
2 to 250.
2 to 250. Yeah. I would have to say my high end is I would just say under 375. 375, it seems to be the threshold of where there's a strong correlation at $375 where people start understanding what hets are, and below that they don't, and that seems to be the pet thing. Somebody made the comment in the audience, and I agree. I could not agree anymore. Travis, it's a long comment here, but he used the word amazement. If I could get people hooked going, what the heck is that? When they look at a pied or they look at a banana or a banana clown or even a blue-eyed Lucy. So in that mindset, do you guys find value in trying to work codoms into those, or is just the wow factor good enough, move on, take the easy money on the base combos, and then put your effort into the, the hobby breeder and the serious breeder efforts down the line? I've been thinking of that. Like, do I need to explain what a leopard acid clown is if 375 is my cap? Like, what do you think?
Yes. No, I know. I'm different opinion. I'm going to give you the story that happened to me. Happened to us at this show. Okay. We had this little clown, red stripe, yellow belly male that I could not get rid of. He's been with us for 5 shows. And this little girl comes up, and she's in 3rd grade. Can I hold the snake, which we have our show snake that everyone gets to hold, and that's the only snake they hold. And I said, sure. And she looks at me, she goes, this is the first snake I've ever held. Well, it's in 3rd grade. Well, I'm still in 3rd grade, but I got to touch it and pet it. And she starts talking about it. And her 12-year-old brother comes over. Oh, hi, what's going on? They look at this little snake, and Lauren, who's the salesperson, goes, she got a little tear going drawn. He's been with us for 5 shows. No one loves him. She sold the snake to this kid, and the big brothers come over. The mother comes over, and the mother's like, I don't want a snake. I don't want a snake. No snakes. And then the brothers start talking, and Lauren starts talking about the possibilities, like you can do. This is clown and they buy the snake. Big brother shells out the money. They buy the snake. I'm talking to this other group about 30 minutes later, and Lauren's like, hey, what, Lauren? What? And it's the same family. And Lauren has talked to them about these banana het sunsets we have coming up. And she said, how much are the banana, are this girl's bananas going to be? I don't know, 250, 350, when they come up, and I said, it depends. I mean, some of them are going to be het sunset. So that's going to be higher. And she goes, yeah, I know. How much for those? Because she wants to. Now, Lauren has been talking to them about recessives. Mm-hmm. And now they're interested in what they can make. Now, this is family. The mother did not want to buy a snake.
Right.
But, my 14-year-old is out here talking about recessives, getting interested. Now, she's got the whole family wrapped up. They put down deposits on 2 of our animals that aren't ready to go yet because of the recessives, because they're interested in going forward. But
do you see that as elevating them out of the pet range into that next hobby enthusiast?
They're willing to spend that money. I mean, they know that there's a big difference. There's going to be a big difference for this.
See, I think that I personally, so I come from the dog world. 350, 375 for a dog is dirt cheap. Mm-hmm. To get a dog, and that's a pet. Most 90% of people that I know that get a dog aren't going to breed it.
Oh, they're going to have it fixed immediately, right?
You have it fixed immediately. So I think that sometimes as we come from Reptile, we go, this is the box they fit in, and I wonder if maybe this isn't the box they fit in, and if we come at them as a pet, and as a member of the family, and as something that can is going to be with you for 15 years,
right?
Just like a dog, just like a doodle, and maybe it doesn't need necessarily as much. You don't need to go walk your snake. If you want to walk with your snake, you can.
Right, but you don't have to, right?
And you don't need to feed it every single day. Once a week. So a little bit more easy to manage than a dog, but still with the same family value,
right?
In a way. So I think that's kind of what we've been kind of trying to come at it for, with like our Heartline animals, and making sure they're on frozen thaw, that they're used to being handled, that
right.
and I think as smaller breeders, we can do that's somewhere where we can excel, where I'm never going to catch up to Justin.
But at the same time, we're not going to take. I have 2 pixels, right? I'm not going to be making table animals with my pixels.
Correct.
There's a difference between putting some sunset in there because you got the male and he has some other interesting genes, and you know it's going to produce a really cool animal. Then putting your projects. I'm not going to quote unquote waste a breeder female of a project that I know could go somewhere completely cool and different.
Right.
Then putting in a few recessives here and there and getting people hooked. We want the next generation of breeder. We need to hook those Tylers from Toxic Balls as the little 15-year-old going to Troy and buying from him, right? Yeah. We want to encourage that. And I think that putting a few recessives in there for breeding for them, I say it's positive.
Well, I don't think it hurts, and I think, I didn't mean to say it as it hurts or it wasn't worthwhile. I guess per bucket, I was trying to think of where I wanted to keep things. But Kate, thank you for sharing that outlook on comparing it with the dog, the livelihood, the family values of a pet. I try to exude that when people say, "Hey, these are your prices are too high," and I'm like, in my opinion, you're looking at it wrong. There's cheaper animals anywhere you want, but here's what I believe and what I put in and what I see when I think of these animals. And it's similar to what you just said. And honestly, it leaves me with a clear conscience. Like, okay, that's not the buyer for me. Maybe they'll find something else. Maybe they'll come back in a year and go, you know what, I should have bought your animal and not that other one that, who knows what had been through. And that's a whole different story. Couple really quick topics since I have you guys here. Trevor, how's things in Colorado? Colorado is on the forefront of some regulation problems that were looming. Any updates? Any good news? More bad news? Same? What's going on there?
Everything's pretty much set in stone as of right now. The regulations changed January 1st of 2027. So okay. As far as like the tub size or enclosure size, I should say, goes. On the other end, they are having meetings right now and taking input from stakeholders on legalizing hognoses. So instead of going out and herping the hognoses, you'll be able to, hopefully, if this all goes through, we'll be able to actually start breeding hognoses and having a industry around that, which I think everybody's going to love here because everybody loves hognoses.
They're wildly popular. Yeah. On the enclosure size, am I right that there's a volume threshold? If you stay under that volume threshold, can you use your industry specific tubs? Is that still possible for you? And what does that look like for you?
That's still the case. It dropped from a 400 animal minimum to be licensed to now 200. So as long as you're staying underneath that 200 mark, you can still use the ARS and the Freedom Breeder and all that kind of stuff. I am not going to be able to do that. So I will be looking at moving my facility out of state, which is a bummer, but I can't do what's not good for the animals, right? So
yeah, that's a drastic move, man.
It is.
Maybe a conversation for another day or on your show. Talk about the show real briefly. Where can people find you and Gertz doing your thing?
Breeder Underground Monday nights at 8:30 MST on YouTube. I also live stream it to Instagram as well. I'm doing that for this show as well. So hopefully people are jumping over from Instagram.
What's up, Instagram? I forgot all about that. You messaged me. I was like, yeah, sure. I literally forgot all about it. Great.
But yeah, you can find us on there on YouTube Monday nights at 8:30. Me and Josh from Critical Hits do the podcast. We just did episode 35. We had our first guest on. We're going to start doing once a month. We are doing new breeder exposés to try and get some awareness around newer breeders to have the industry get to know them. Like even Jeff on last night, he's never had a clutch. He has about 60 animals. Great guy, loved getting to know him, and really hope that everything goes. I mean, he was an awesome dude. He definitely made our first guest appearance pretty easy. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. So we want to get some exposure for some of the newer breeders that are up and coming, so we can help not only keep them in the hobby but also build the hobby and the industry as well. So we're going to have Kate and Bill on, I believe, in February. So we got to work out the date. But yeah, we're going to do that as well. And they're a little bit more established, obviously. But any kind of exposure for everybody, I think, is great. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a good show. It's a good show.
Monday nights, 8:30 Mountain Time.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then Heart of the Python is Kate and Bill Peever. Talk about Heart of the Python, where people could find you and that stuff. And then Kate, if you would, you've mentioned it a couple times, but I think it's a brilliant concept. I think it's brilliant marketing. Talk about your Heartline program that you run. And there you go. Take it away.
You can find us. I'm most active on Instagram, Heart of the Python on Instagram. We do have a YouTube channel. We have not done anything with it yet because we haven't. But we're most active on Instagram. I have started trying to do some more activity on TikTok. We'll see how that goes too. As far as our Heartline animals go, we are working on a lot of different reptiles and mammals are bred not just for like how pretty they are, but also about their temperament. And our Heartline animals are bred with temperament in mind. So we pick the animals that would probably die in the wild, the ones that, you open up the tub and they just want to crawl out and just check out whatever's going on around you, or the ones that will sit in your lap and just watch a movie with you, that are, less head shy. And we take those animals and we breed them together. And we've had a lot of success with the babies having similar temperaments to the parents. We're working on trying to figure out if, both parents have to have those temperaments or if one is more important than the other. So it's kind of a little bit of an experiment for us as well. But those Heartline animals are bred specifically to make ideal pets. We make sure they're on frozen thawed. They're handled more regularly. They're kept in clear containers so that they have more exposure to the everything that's going on, like the cat, or the kids playing D&D, or things that would happen more likely in a house, so that those things their mental elasticity is a little bit more geared towards that. So we're really excited about that project too.
My apologies to you guys. I had show display names unchecked for the full episode. All right, audience, there you go. Now we could see who's who and where you got to go and how you got to check these folks out. And Kate, thank you. Where are you guys located?
We're in Boston. We're near right outside of Boston, in Massachusetts.
Excellent. Guys, thank you all so much for being here tonight. This was fun. I kind of like this couple extra voices thing. This went well tonight. You guys played well together. I appreciate that. I knew it would go fine, but I've worked with y'all before, and this came together really well. So thanks for being here tonight. Audience, thanks for hanging out. We do it every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. If you've not been here, I hope if you haven't been here before and you enjoyed it, I hope you'll consider subscribing, following, all that good stuff. My name's Adam from Proper Royals, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday, same time, same place. Stick around for just a second. That's Bill, Kate, and that is Trevor. Thanks, guys. See you guys soon. And like I say, guests, stick around for just a second.